The Telfair Museums are a national institution located in Savannah, Georgia, comprising 2 National Historic Landmark buildings and a contemporary art museum. The Jepson Center, the Contemporary Museum, the Telfair Academy, one of the National Historic Institutions and the original building of the museum, and the Owens Thomas House, a 1-hour-long guided tour and our only guided site. We're going to start with discussing the Owens Thomas House. Built in 1819 by William J., the Owens Thomas House exemplifies neoclassical styles that were popular in England during the Regency period. Upon entering the property, you're greeted with our lovely garden that is taken care of by a crew of groundskeepers that are here throughout the week. Typically, on the weekends, we only see our hourly employees and frontline employees. At the Owens Thomas House, there is a crew of interpretive guides who lead all of the guided tours. Each tour is roughly an hour long and covers the slave quarters, orientation gallery, garden, and throughout the house as well. Now, let's hear from some employees at the Owens Thomas House.
Hi, I'm Carrie Daughtry. I'm the manager of interpretation and training at the Telfair Museums. And I actually started at the Telfair Museums right out of grad school. I worked about 4 years. Then I took a break and went into another career direction, but the love called me back. So I came back to my love of art history, and I've been here for about 6 years now.
Great. Well, we're happy to have you back, Carrie. My first question for you is, how do you interact with the team at your job?
Well, I have a fantastic team. We have about 18 or 19 right now, and we're actually getting ready to onboard some new team members right now, so that's always very exciting. And my favorite way to interact with them is in person, is to check on them, walk around, kind of see how their day is going. But we have other methods too, because we operate 3 sites and many team members across the way with different schedules, so you have to be creative. So we do a Microsoft Teams, which is sort of like a chat, and sometimes I'll check in with them. For example, one thing I do on the last day of the week before we close for our weekly break here at the museums is I'll ask them to post a little GIF in the chat about kind of what their end of their week is, and it's a way we can kind of celebrate and share together and lift the mood a little bit before we have some days off. We also do some weekly updates, some monthly meetings, and again, just kind of walking around and checking on folks. So you have to be really creative when you're dealing with a large group and 3 different sites, but it can be done, and it's also very rewarding to see everybody in action.
Great. And what is an impactful moment that you've had working at the Telfair Museums?
Yes, I have to say, and again, I'm going to go back to my amazing team, is seeing them grow and develop within their position and then move on to other things. We have had interpretive guides are my team, and we've had some of them go into other positions in the museum that came open that they qualified for and secured the position for. And then we've had some that have moved on to other places like the High Museum or up north or Coastal Museums Association, all of those places. So it's really rewarding to see someone who is coming into our environment to only serve our visitors and to enjoy what they love, but to also use it as a stair step to get to their next level. And seeing that and seeing them thrive is just something I love.
Wonderful. And then with your background in art history, I'm sure that you have a painting or an artwork here that has impacted you greatly. Do you have one that comes to mind, maybe?
Oh my goodness. It is so hard because there's one thing that's great about Telfair Museums is we have so many different kinds of genres and styles. I mean, sculpture, architecture, painting, you just name it. There's something there. So yes, it's hard for an art history person, but I guess I would have to say I really like that we have a portrait of Mary Telfair in the Telfair Academy Rotunda. I like it because she is where the story of Telfair Museums begins. By way of her will, she bequeathed her home and properties, funds, things like that, to have it become an art museum for the public. And from there, we acquired the Owens Thomas House that was gifted to us by another owner family member not related to Mary Telfair. And then we built the Jepson Center. So we are now a 3-site organization. And it wouldn't have happened without Mary Telfair's generosity and gift to us. And I like to think that she'd be super proud of seeing all the ways that we serve the community
Absolutely.
And the public, and all the ways that we really touch people's lives and inspire people in the arts, which is what she wanted to do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carrie. I really appreciate your time.
You are so welcome. Thank you.
Interpretive guides at the Owens Thomas House go through rigorous training to be able to understand the content and material that they'll be teaching on each and every tour. Dealing with these subjects can be difficult, but through the education and guidance of our teammates and managers, we are able to understand and contribute to the community through our educational programming here at the OT.
Hi, my name is Aubrey. I'm currently an historical interpreter at the Telfair Museums in Savannah, Georgia. I do have a master's in art history from the Savannah College of Art and Design, and I've been here for about like a little over a year now, actually. So, yeah.
Great. And what is an impactful moment that you've had in your position at the Telfair?
I wouldn't say I would be able to like pinpoint like an exact moment or anything, but there are certain like interactions from my groups that have stayed with me and everything, usually regarding about people really appreciating the way that I bring a humanitarian vision and perspective to my tours, because I try to hit a little bit of everything and I don't lean more on one way than the other, and I just try to bring like light to actually what was going on here without it being too much like you must learn it like this, being really hard to understand and stuff. Like I just say the facts without bias, and people really appreciate that. And so whenever I get those kind of interactions after my tours are out, it just makes me feel like I'm doing something good here.
Yes, absolutely. So. And you have a background in art history, so what is your favorite artwork at the Telfair Museums? I know it's hard, yeah.
So, okay, I am a landscape specialist, specifically for like 19th century American art. So, of course, there are pieces of that in the museum. Especially, there's an American landscape piece by Robert Selden Duncanson in there, which I have some knowledge on. But I think my favorite piece goes to the first artwork that I ever loved in the Telfair Academy, which was an Irish landscape.
Great. And then, how has your position helped your career growth?
It's given me a lot of different opportunities when it comes to trying out different things professionally, like outside of just being an historical interpreter and doing research and stuff. So I've been able to help like with curatorial associate things and stuff, but it's a slow and small process.
Yes.
And stuff, so we're still slowly making it out.
Great. Thank you so much, Aubrey.
Heading to our second location, the Telfair Academy is also a National Historic Landmark building built by William Jay and finished around 1820. It is the original residence of Mary Telfair, the founder of Telfair Museums, and this is where the original Telfair Museums began in 1886 after Mary Telfair bequeathed the family home to the Georgia Historical Society upon her death and started the Telfair Academy and Museums. Outside of the museum, there is a Georgia historical plaque as well as a series of sculptures from the original director of the museum. Inside, there is the sculpture gallery on the bottom floor, which features a series of classic art, oil paintings, and sculptures.
All right, hi, I am Taya Lenore. My degree is film and television, and my position is frontline associate at the Telfair Museums.
Awesome, thank you so much. And what is your favorite part of your job?
I love that it starts at 9:30.
A little time to sleep in.
I love that there's a little time to sleep in, and I love that it's very relaxing. I worked food service most of my life. I was a bartender, I was a barista, girl, I worked at Taco Bell. Like, this is a very just nice, calm, environment to work in.
Awesome. And how do you interact with teams at your job?
It's very casual. I think I initially thought that working at a museum would be very, very formal, but I think I was very pleasantly surprised with how casual things are. Still professional, but just very laid back and casual and calm. I think we're very supportive here as well. So, yeah, I think, and also Microsoft Teams.
Yes. And who's your favorite coworker at the? I'm just Well, yeah, right. Well, thank you so much, Taya. I appreciate your time and your passion for the museum industry. Woohoo!
Heading upstairs in the Telfair Academy, we reach the Rotunda Gallery, which houses some of the prized jewels of the Telfair collection. The Rotunda Gallery houses one of the most popular, if not the most popular, paintings at the Telfair Academy, The Black Prince of Cressy by Julian Russell Story. This painting depicts a battle during the 100 Years' War between King John and the Black Prince of Cressy, Prince Edward. The Telfair Academy houses predominantly the permanent collection of the Telfair Museums. While we're looking through it, we're going to talk about the mission statement of the Telfair Museums. The mission statement is Telfair Museums offers compelling expressions of visual culture, embracing 3 unique buildings and 3 distinct collections that bridge 3 centuries of art and architecture. The museum develops awareness, understanding, and appreciation of the arts and serves as a dynamic cultural center connecting people of all ages and backgrounds. As the mission statement reads, the Telfair exhibits all 3 of the buildings, so when customers come in to purchase a ticket at the Telfair Museums, they can only purchase a 3-site pass that is good for 7 days and gets some admission into all 3 of our sites unlimited amounts of times. We are now entering the gallery that houses the #1 piece of artwork at the Telfair Academy that is interesting to tourists. This is the Bird Girl. She is featured on the cover of Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, which is a popular book about an event that happened in Savannah. The Bird Girl is a very popular piece, so she gets her own room, but there are a lot of artworks featured in the gallery adjacent to hers. The Telfair Museums, on top of the tickets, offers memberships. At the adventurer level and above, members receive reciprocal museum benefits. The reciprocal associations that the Telfair participates in includes the North American Reciprocal Museum Association, known as NARM, the Southeastern Reciprocal Membership, known as CERM, Rome, which is the Reciprocal Organization of Associated Museums, and the Coastal Museums Association. Now we'll head over to the Telfair's newest building, the Jepson Center, constructed in 2006 by the architect Moshe Safdie. The Jepson Center is predominantly where events are held at the Telfair Museums.
To create insightful narratives about identity, humanity, and commonalities. As an Iranian American woman, an immigrant, I'm compelled to create work that responds to politics, ethics, and society while reimagining a space where divisions between people and culture collapse and coalesce somehow. I hope I answered your question.
I'm Kate Lasavita. I'm the Visitor Services Manager at Telfair Museums. I have a bachelor's in art history and a master's in art history. And I've been working here for like a little over 2.5 years.
Awesome. And what is your favorite part of working at the Telfair Museums?
My favorite part of working here is definitely being surrounded by art and surrounded by people that love art. Getting to pretty much every day talk about art in general is probably my favorite thing, especially like getting to experience all the new exhibitions, getting to know artists that come in. It's been a really great part of working here, is being just surrounded by the culture of art.
Absolutely. And on that note, what is your favorite artwork in the Telfair collection or just on exhibit at the museum now?
Mine is probably the plaster casts of the Dying Gull and the Laocoon that's down in the sculpture gallery.
Great choice.
Yeah. Well, my background is in classics and early modern art. Although I have a deep love and appreciation for contemporary art, those are probably, at least as of right now, the closest I've ever been to those works, which are, plaster casts of the actual things. So every time I see them, I swoon.
Me too. And how has your position at the Telfair impacted your career growth so far?
So far, it has been beneficial, given that eventually I want to work in curation in major institutions. And this really helps with team building, collaboration, getting to know artists, getting to know what the museum field is actually kind of like growing into as far as what, the audience and guests that come in want to see. So it really has been immersing myself within that kind of atmosphere.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate.
Yeah, thank you.
The Jepson Center was built to highlight all sorts of natural events in Savannah, including the rain. As we head up into the building, we'll be greeted by a series of different exhibitions, including Tideland by Parker Stewart, a local Savannah photographer. While we look around the Jepson Center, we'll discuss our education programs and events at the Telfair Museums. We have 4 individuals at the Telfair who look over education and outreach, including positions such as studio programs manager and outreach coordinator. We do also employ an education fellow. On the second floor of the Jepson Center houses our Children's Art Museum. It is currently themed around William Golding, a Savannah sailor and artist who has a very interesting background and story to tell. During summer programming, the Children's Art Museum also transforms into an educational space to get the youth interested in art. During these peak months, we offer events such as story time and open studio for young children. Throughout the rest of the year, the Children's Art Museum serves as an area for fun and education for all ages. I always recommend everyone to walk through here because it's so interesting to the eye and such a fun area to check out. When it comes to events at the Telfair, we have a variety of different programs and educational events, as well as the Telfair Gala and the Owens Thomas House Garden Party. For every new exhibition, we have a members-only exhibition opening prior to the first day of the exhibition being open to the public. Now we'll hear from one of our curators at the Telfair Museums.
Hi, my name is Elise Gerstenecker. I'm the curator of decorative arts here at Telfair Museums. That means that I am responsible for managing, acquiring, collecting, and preserving a large group of items that include everything from furniture to ceramics from the 18th century to the present day. And my educational background is really heavily focused on decorative arts, of course. So my bachelor's degree is in art history and historic preservation from the University of Mary Washington. My master's degree is in the history of decorative arts, design, and culture from Bard. And then I hold a PhD in history of art and architecture from the University of Virginia.
Great, thank you so much, Elise. And we have the Moss Mystique exhibition going on, which you curated. I was wondering if you'd like to say a few words just about the exhibition and what it means to you.
Sure. For me, this is a deeply personal and meaningful exhibition. It emerged from my dissertation research when I relocated to Savannah after I finished my work. I was thinking about the South and had spent many years thinking about the South and how we tell stories about the South and how we picture the South, and the Newcomb pottery was a major part of that. And we talk about that routinely here in Savannah, and it is a big part of who we are, and thinking about regional identity is a big part of what Telfair Museums does. So I thought that an exhibition on Newcomb pottery was a good fit. And I was also really familiar with this wonderful collection that the Newcomb Art Museum at Tulane University has. They have well over 400 works in their permanent collection. This is their institutional legacy to Newcomb. The Newcomb College was the women's college for Tulane, and so they have this amazing collection that they are trying to figure out how to take it out, how to explore it further, how to take it in new directions, and they were really happy to collaborate with us. So it's always great when you have an exhibition that can come out of that collaboration, that collaborative process.
Great, thank you. And now for the tricky question. As a curator, you choose kind of what artwork goes in the museum. You choose what we see every single day. What is the process like for you when you choose an artwork that is important enough to be seen by the public?
Anxiety riddled.
Yes.
For me, importance is relative, and I think we see that if, as you study museum history, whoever is making the decision is often biased in favor of certain things. I know that I am. And so when I am making those kinds of decisions about what gets to be seen, what we choose to show, there are some aesthetic parameters. I do try to aim for works that represent quality craftsmanship, quality of execution, and quality of design too. But again, those are terms that are very relative and change over time. So I am also deeply invested in showing works by women artists because those are undervalued, and that's relatively easy for me to do as a decorative arts curator because a lot of my material is made by women. And I'm also really invested in choosing objects that are interesting for people to look at. I don't find it as compelling to look at objects that don't have some sort of visual interest, visual moment. We are an art museum, and so if I'm telling a historic story but only telling that historic story with objects that aren't compelling for visitors, then I don't think I'm doing my job very well. The other thing that has sort of emerged as something I do, and I'm not sure I was aware I was doing it from the Moss Mystique, is I have no problem showing works that are experimental, that show the way an artist is working through a problem or trying to address a problem, but may not succeed at doing that. So there were a couple of examples in the Moss Mystique that people were like, those are strange, they look out of place, they're weird. But for me, they're really intriguing because they were ways in which the designers were trying to tackle new challenges and update their work for the present. So I am not as picky as I probably should be, but I like to have a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elise, for your time and for answering. Let's head into the Moss Mystique to check out Elise's newest curated exhibition. Our curatorial department at the Telfair consists of 8 people. We have a chief registrar, associate registrar, 3 curatorial specialists, a rights and reproduction assistant curator, chief preparator, and a designer preparator as well. The Telfair Museums host top-notch exhibitions. Previous to the Mos Mystique, we had an exhibition of Venice and the Ottoman Empire, a collection of different works, clothing pieces, shields, and etc., all of which had to be kept at very specific temperature requirements and humidity requirements. To make sure that these pieces are kept safe, it takes work from the whole entire team to keep an eye on the temperature and humidity gauges within the exhibitions. On the digital side of things, we have 2 people in the marketing and communications department, a marketing and public relations manager, and a digital content coordinator who look over our social medias. This department does work closely with our development department, which includes a relationship database manager and our events manager. Development and marketing work very closely together because they focus on membership experience, event experience, and overall customer satisfaction, as well as focusing strongly on community outreach. Looking on Google, the Telfair Museums has 4.5 stars with 711 reviews, with most people appreciating the 3-site pass option.
Hi, my name is Emma. I am a third-year art history student at SCAD, and I have been working at Telfair Museums for about 1 year.
Awesome. And what is the favorite part, or your favorite part, of working on the front line?
I would say interacting with guests and customers. You meet all sorts of people. I've met people from all over the world, from Korea, from Germany, from Chile, from literally everywhere. And you meet the coolest people. I have like 15-minute conversations sometimes with people, and I love it.
Awesome. And how has working at the Telfair impacted your career and what you look forward to in the next steps of your life?
Well, being in art history, it's really fun getting to work here because I kind of get a little bit of behind the scenes. I get early access to things. I get to see all these paintings, and I kind of get to know all of the inner workings and cogs to everything that I wouldn't normally get. And I also became a docent here as well, so I get to kind of teach people and learn that side of things, which is really awesome.
Great. And what's an impactful moment that you've had at the Telfair Museums?
Ooh, I would just say with my coworkers, I've gotten really close to a lot of them and met a lot of really cool people. And I feel like I've been forced a little bit with this job to learn things that I wouldn't normally have to learn. Like, I know who built this building, when it was built, all the things like that I wouldn't have thought I would need to know, but I do, and I love it.
Great. And is there anything else that you'd like to add today?
No, that's everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emma, for your time and your answers.
Bye.
Now, to finish up any good museum experience, we're going to head into the Jepson Center gift store to look around for a minute. Overall, the Telfair Museums has a very community-driven focus, with wanting to get the members of the public and community in Savannah out to the museum and interested in art, with educational programs, member opportunities and events, and reasonable member prices for locals. The gift shop gives local artists like myself the opportunity to showcase and sell work in the museum environment. As we are wrapping up our discussion of the Telfair Museums, I will say it is hard for me to critique a place that I work at and that I love working at so much. I've had such a fabulous time in my employment here, and I hope to continue it for many, many years. This is the most important staff member at the Telfair Museums. Chrissy, do you have anything to say? Just really intense stare. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you learned a little something about the Telfair Museums. If you have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them, and I look forward to seeing all of y'all's presentations. Thank you.